Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an awesome life. Today we're going to take viewer questions, and I have some really good questions that came from you guys. I'm going to address them. But first, to my viewer who wants to know how I get this very healthy glow, this is Christian Dior's Dior Skin Nude Air Luminizer. No, I don't make any affiliate fees from this. There you go. There you got it. Little shiny, right? Okay. So I just brush it on. Gives you a nice glow. All right, so now let's go on to viewer questions. A lot of you are dealing with it's all coming down to the same thing. Dealing with situations when things are not going the way you would like them to. So that's really, this whole video is going to be about that. I'm going to give each of you answers to your questions. All right, for one thing, we have a viewer whose father of her child, 12-year-old son, he's died at age 38. She goes to the funeral, and after the funeral, she's told she has to move out of the house. So now she's, of course, saying, okay, I know there's something here. I know there's a reason for this. I know it's all good. But it doesn't feel good, right? It doesn't feel good. All right, so let's take this one example, and we're going to move on to everybody's questions for this past week. This is very typical of what's going on right now. In fact, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 friends who have to move unexpectedly. And I'm looking at every one of those situations, and when I really think about it, and when I discuss it with them, it's all really good. It's sort of pushing them out of that situation they're in that's stagnating, that's keeping them where they were, and pushing them where they need to be. This is the transition of the planet. That's part of it, and that's the really uncomfortable part of it that doesn't feel good, but you know that it is necessary to make the change. If you need to be someplace else or in a different relationship or a different job, you have to lose whatever is in place. And we have, as human beings, a real problem with change. We like what we know. The ego needs to know. Why do we go to psychics and all that stuff? We want to know it's going to be okay. You know what? It's going to be okay. I can tell you, you know what? You're in control of that. I just watched like 5 different experiments on quantum physics. It's mind-blowing. And mind-blowing. In fact, whatever you're thinking about this situation, wherever you need to be, is what you're creating. So when you go through this transition, when somebody says you have to move out of the house, or you lose your house, or you have to make a decision on moving for whatever reason. I'm actually in that situation myself. I have to make a decision. It's going to be a good one, but it's still forcing me to say, wow, I have some huge opportunities over here, which means that I have to give up things that I love, but if I stay in that, I will stagnate. So you got to ask yourself whether it's a desirable situation or not. It's still uncomfortable, and so you have to release. You have to release and be able to walk away from that old world in order for something really awesome to show up, the transition. So if I told you, see, herein lies this story in your head. You don't know what you're going to, so there's fear involved with that. So what if you said, okay, I'm creating that. In fact, it's not in the future, it exists right now. That future event exists right now. It's a probability right now. And through quantum physics, if I focus on that and I know that that's what I want and I envision myself in it, not from fear or lower frequency, that's when you guys don't manifest because you're not really believing what you're asking for. When you say, I know this is for my best. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Again, do not fight the feelings. Don't try and cover up and try and feel good about it. You're not going to. That's okay. That's the part of being human. It's part of this, growth of feeling uncomfortable, but still moving forward despite it. So you feel uncomfortable and you go, ow, I have to pack up everything. I have to move. I'm not sure where I'm going to go. But guess what? If I want that life in my head that's stable, where I'm able to take care of myself, where I get to pick what house I want and no one will ever kick me out again, then I have to create that life. And the only way I can do that is if I leave that life that I was in. And that's what's happening for you. You are now away from that whole life that is not going to make sense for you at all. And if you tried to hang on to it and make it happen, it wouldn't work out. Because the universe is now taking you to a higher frequency because that's where you're going. You're on this channel, so I know you're awakening. So you're going to the higher frequency, and so herein lie the probabilities that you want, and it's pushing you out of there up into that space. Be okay with being uncomfortable. And just know, like you said, you know that there's a purpose. You know that everything always is for your best interest. It really is. It's when we fight it, we don't believe it, and we try and hang on to the other stuff that's not, it gets very uncomfortable because that's not where you're supposed to be. This is part of being human, and we always want everything to be perfect. We want to get the house, stay in the house, get more stuff. It'll never stay that way. It never will. It can't. The outside world can never make you happy. If you say, I'm being tested right now, I'm being tested because I asked to become something greater. I asked to be at peace. I asked to be awakened and enlightened. By the way, ask to be awakened first. When you're awakened, you don't fear. Or when you feel it, you don't react to it. It just floats by like a cloud. You always know everything's going to be okay. You know there's a higher purpose. You have a peace. You have a knowing, and it enables you to get through the life challenges because you're not relying on the world to make you happy. You're coming from such a strong place inside that you're able to handle all these things out here and understand them for what they are, not something that's happening to you or against you. So that's one example. The second one is we have a young mother, well, I don't know, young, I don't know, everybody's young to me, who has two young sons, you know, well, I think they're teenagers, and she is in a mixed marriage herself, and she sees nothing but racism and disrespect and potential whatever going on around her. All right, so first of all, and she referenced the fact that I say to not watch that stuff, to not view it. We're going to go right back to what I just said about the young mom having to move out of the house. You're creating your reality, so now you obviously are focusing on that. That's all I heard out of your mouth. Not that there's hope, things are changing, I'm going to be part of that change. I'm going to teach that change to my sons. And they are going to know that anybody who speaks anything but empowerment and equality and that we're all beautiful, one thing, anybody who speaks that is a hurting soul, is an ego that needs to do that to gain power, thinks it is, when it's actually destroying itself. It will eventually crumble. But you don't have to be a part of that. So if you are allowing yourself to be part of that energy, you're infusing that fear into your kids. Bad, 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 bad. Because we do affect each other. We're one collective. So even though you have free will and you create your own reality, you still affect my collective consciousness, which means you're putting fear out there. You're watching the garbage. You're believing what's on there. See, I don't believe the stuff I see. Most of it's so bad. I just saw one announcement. My friends and I were watching television. One announcement about something about the foreigner, you know, the travel rules, and they made it sound so different than what it was. And I said, this is why I don't watch the news. I don't want to participate in any of it. It is false stuff. It's meant to put fear in you. It's a controlling thing, and you're falling for it. Do you ever see good stuff on TV? Rarely, rarely. Why? Because it's not interesting. The lower egos are watching that garbage and they're addicted to it. Don't let that be you. You have to be steadfast and know that this stuff's going around. We're participating in a very troubled world. It's transitioning. If you don't believe that, then you're going to stay down in that third density, and that is the world you will live in because you're creating it. Why? You're connecting to that, and you're going to stay there. And other people who are transitioning, knowing there's a better place, moving out of the house even though it doesn't feel good, is opening and accepting all of these beautiful things in here that the world can be if you see it and view it that way, because quantum physics says You absolutely affect the results of your observation. And you're observing a cruel, racist world? I'm not. I see people living together, loving each other, not looking at that and saying, it doesn't matter what that other person does. I'm going to be peace. I'm going to be a leader. I will not focus on the negative. I'm going to focus on the things we are doing that are good for each other, and I'm going to be a part of that. That's your mission. And if you want to go over here and say, but how do I do this? How do you do it? You sit your kids down and you tell them, it doesn't matter what that white person or that black person or what you see. Here's who you are. Perfect, beautiful, powerful. And that this little costume we have on is irrelevant to what you truly are. And I want you to go out in that world and shine that light and be an example of everybody getting along and loving each other, and you have to be steadfast with that. So, my dear lady, if you want to choose that reality, you can. If you want to live in the lower frequencies and believe it and consume yourself and tell yourself that story, you get that choice. I hope you choose to be the peaceful light, and you're not in a peaceful place because you're allowing it to bother you. I see the same stuff you do. I don't watch it. I just don't pay attention to it. I'm focusing on how I can make a difference, and when I do that, I am making a difference. You get to choose. Only you get to choose your life. Only you get to choose your reality. If you want that world, and I don't think you do, or else you wouldn't have reached out. All right? It's going to take some real kahunas. This wasn't an easy job we took on. All right, I have a third person, and it's going to come right back to the same thing, who is actually doing affiliate marketing, the same kind of thing that I do, who took full responsibility when he gave me an inquiry, a comment, and said, I'm doing all of these things. I've invested in my education, I'm investing in my advertising, all these things, and it's not working. I don't know what else to do. But I know it works because I see all of you guys super successful at it. So I know it does work. So why am I, instead of saying it doesn't work or whatever, which is what most people do, blame the world, not, he took responsibility and said, why isn't mine working? It will, hon, it will. It's not you. All of us struggle in any kind of business, jobs, relationships, everything. There's always a time period where there's learning, growth, and there's some struggle in there. Well, actually some pain. You don't have to struggle. Struggle is when you battle something. So you're already telling yourself a story, so let's get out of that mode. Say, okay, I know this works. So you started with that, which is great. I know this works. And I know there's no reason I can't have it work for me. Landria and all these other people that are really successful at this, and they've got these businesses, they don't really have any more than I do. I don't. I have a different experience. I'm a different person, which is why you're different from me, because you're going to connect to other people that connect to you. One thing that I did and have stuck to, which goes in alignment with our spiritual selves, is to completely be yourself. I never sell stuff. I promote things because I know it's good and I know it can change people's lives. I know it changed mine. And so when you come from a place of telling the truth, telling your, let's just put it this way, speaking from your heart. A lot of you have told me I speak from my heart. It shows. You can't fake that. When you do that and you're consistent and then you seek the answers, go find out what it is in your business that's not working. Go get the answers. Do the research. Okay, I'll give you an example. And you probably, you know this, whoever's talking about our internet marketing. I'm launching a completely separate business, and there's some of the components of that business are not taught in our platform. So I went the head of technology of the organization and the founders, and they gave me some examples and said they'd call me. In the meantime, 2 weeks went by. Do you think I sat and waited for them to tell me which platform to install in the back office? No. I went and found out myself. I researched them. I figured out what was good. Who's here? I looked at everything myself and watched videos, educated myself, picked one. Then tech calls me. looked at it and said, wow, this is a really good system. You did a good job. I educated myself. Things don't always happen overnight. Understand there's learning. What else do I need to try? What action do I need to take every day to make this happen? This is true in everything in your life. What is it I don't like about my life? What action do I need to take to make a change? And then you move forward with that, and then things will click. And then when they click, you get more confidence, you feel better, and thus it opens up for you. So once again, your focus and your beliefs are creating your reality. All these doors are opening to elevate you to the next level. You cannot quit or go running back to that safety. There's no such thing. So you're whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. And go get your glow on. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.